All right, everybody, welcome back. It's the 8th episode of the Time I Skates podcast. It's DG, it's Z, and I think things are going to go a little bit differently today because for the past week I haven't really been around, haven't been looking at too many Flyers things. I was on vacation in Colorado, so I'm kind of behind on all things Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to be the host this episode, but why don't you tell us a little bit about your trip if you had any. I heard it went off without a hitch. There were no issues whatsoever, and you have no stories.
Well, I'm not going to talk about the boring stuff. Obviously, road tripping around Colorado is never boring. I saw a lot of awesome national parks, bunch of elk, a lot of awesome views and stuff, but I feel like some of the stuff people might want to hear about are the mishaps. So I got two mini stories of little mishaps that happened on the trip. And if anybody listening goes on road trips, I feel like there's always something that goes wrong. There's always at least one thing that goes wrong. So for me, on the second to last day of our trip, our last night camping before we were going to the airport the next day, we were traveling back to our campsite, and I guess my GPS took us down a different route. And these campsites, we were finding were free, recreational areas. We didn't have to pay or anything, so it was awesome. But this time it took us down a dirt road, which is, not uncommon. But it was a dirt road where we had to drive 5 miles to get to the campsite instead of using the highway and using another dirt road where it took 30 seconds. So we're kind of crunched on time because it's getting dark. So we're just all right, I'm just going to keep going down this. Plus, I don't have data anymore, so I'm just stuck following the GPS. And we get to these parts where water, and the dirt mixed, and it created these huge divots. And normally, the cars can get through these. Yeah. I feel like you know where this is headed. There was just multiple of them, back to back to back. And after, I got through the first couple okay, and I'm, going slow. But then it just gets worse and worse, and it's at the point where you just can't turn back. Because if I turn back, I'm going to fuck up the car because I have to drive backwards because there's, huge blades of grass and rocks to the left and right. I can't drive off the road and turn around.
And what kind of car are you in?
It's a Buick Enclave, okay, so it's kind of a big, massive sedan.
So so it's not like you're in a Wrangler going through here.
No, the Wrangler would have been nice. We actually got a free upgrade. This is another mid story off topic, but I'll come back. When we flew into Colorado, we had to wait 3 hours in line till 3 a.m. to get our car because the line was so fucking long. But Colorado is 2 hours difference from Philly, so I was basically up till 5 a.m. Waiting to get my car, so that sucked. But back to where I was heading. So obviously, we got to a ditch that was too big, and I thought the car, I literally felt like the car was going to get stuck. I felt rocks and dirt jamming the shit under the car. I don't know what it's called. The fucking stuff that makes the car go vroom,
The axles?
So I just, the axles. There you go. And I just ripped the gas. I was like, fuck this. I'm getting through it. I just ripped it. We got through. Luckily, it took forever. But when I got out of the car, this bottom rubber piece, I guess, was torn up. And it was just fuck, they're going to see this and charge me. And it was funny because we were just in Boulder. So me and my girlfriend took an edible when we were about 30 minutes from the campsite. So it would hit.
You're high as shit right now.
So it would hit right before, once we got there, it hit and we could just make a fire and relax. So I'm at the point where it's oh my God, I'm going to be so fucking paranoid if this hits and I'm still in this situation. It was basically a living nightmare. But we went through the night. We basically all right, let's not think about it. We ended up talking about it 20 more times the rest of the night because it was just something we couldn't not talk about because it was so petrifying. The next day, we go to Home Depot in downtown Denver, get some electric tape.
Oh, yeah.
We electric tape the back of this rubber thing to make it kind of stick together, but obviously there's still you can still see the rips.
Yeah.
But
where was it actually sticking out of? The back or the side?
The front.
The front.
Okay,
so under
front,
it was a bumper sticking out,
yes,
sort of
underneath
the shielding
piece
underneath.
Of rubber.
Got it.
Yes, and So we not duct tape, we electrical tape, black tape because it was black,
Yeah.
together, and it looked good because it was together, but you could still tell there was rips.
Mhm.
So then what we did next was we drove to a park. We were right by the Denver Zoo. We got some water and made a little mud. And we just slathered mud all over like the front part of the car, especially on the part that was fucked up. And then we kind of just drove around the rest of the day and let that mud harden. And we returned that car and not a thing was said to us. Like, I guess they just didn't see it.
Well,
the mud covered it perfectly.
They'll inspect
And,
it after they wash it off, but still.
They'll inspect it after, but they charged me my final receipt. Like, I got my receipt.
Yeah, they can
so-
still charge you after.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
we finessed,
Yeah, I know
but
what
I
you mean.
also looked, and it was only like $60 to $80 for the part. So, like, worst case scenario,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, all right, I looked up the part. Like, we'll send you the money to get a new part, but I'm not going to, give you my insurance and shit. I'll just give you cash and you just buy a new part.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the biggest mishap that happened.
That's pretty funny. I mean, honestly, you thought about it way more than I would have. I've just been like, oh fuck, this part's ripped. I guess I'll have to deal with that when I return the car. Like, I wouldn't have tried to cover it up or anything.
We're already paying like over $500.
I know,
for
it's
this car,
ridiculous.
So I was
to
just
fucking
like,
rent cars. It's so stupid.
I got charged. I paid up front, and then I had like the final payment due. It was like $128, and then they like charged me another $200 on top of
Deposit.
that, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, I paid $300. It said I had this much more due, and then you just charge me more? Like, you're not being upfront." I called them and bitched, and they were like, "Oh, it's in the agreement." I was like, "Yeah, you hid it in the agreement instead of like being so upfront about it." But
That's kind of ridiculous.
enough of that. It's just bullshit. Obviously,
Dude,
these stupid companies always do this.
I don't have a car here, so I'll go to the Enterprise rent a car like down the street, and they have it's like a $400 deposit to rent a car. Like,
Yeah, they don't take that money, but they
yeah,
like,
I know
hold on to
they
it.
give it back to you. But I was just like, I had been going for like a year, and first it was like $200, then it was like $250, like $300. Now it's like $400. Like, what's going on? Like, are people just not returning cars? And they're like, yeah. So people are just like stealing cars from them, I guess.
That's wild. I mean, I'm only 24, so like I kind of get maybe why they charge a little extra because of like the under 25 fee.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was just like, dude, fucking up that car, and just on the very last day, like the last time we're camping, where like something bad could happen. Of course, fuck it up, but
That fucking
as of
sucks.
right now, it looks like we're in the clear. A little
Cool, man.
finessing never, or always helps.
You got any more stories? You were in the airport watching some preseason game.
Yeah, I was texting you. We dropped the car off because we were like, fuck it, let's just get rid of this car. It's a goddamn nightmare, and go to the airport. Our flight actually got bumped back like a month before our trip instead of midnight. So instead of a red eye, it was going to be at 7 a.m. the next day. So we got to the airport at like 5 or 6. So we were going to be there for over 12 hours. I was like, whatever. We'll just check our bag and then go have some dinner and airport beers to pass the time. But of course, if you have a trip the next day, you can't check your bag until 3 a.m. So we're stuck basically in baggage claim right before you can enter the
Like
Denver
at the
airport.
desk, like you're gonna
Yeah.
just even go to the security line. That
Sitting
sucks,
there
dude.
for, I don't know how long it was, 8 hours straight. But at least I got to watch the Flyers game. They ended up losing, but it was kind of a fun game to watch.
Was that the
They
Caps
came
one?
back a little bit. Yeah, the
The
Caps
last
one.
one,
I think it was
yeah.
the last one.
Yeah.
That was fun. It out of all the places to have to sit for a long period of time, it's like the DMV, and then I would say the airport, especially when you don't have access
When you're
to
not
airport
actually at
beers.
the terminal. Yeah.
Yeah, when you don't have access to drink, it's pretty bad.
That fucking sucks, dude.
And at 3 a.m. when we were about allowed to check our bag, like we didn't sleep. Like I tried.
Yeah.
It's just fucking impossible to sleep there. This dude, there's like 3 workers at 3 a.m. that come out and start doing stuff. There's one lady at the counter where you can go check your bag. And then there's a bunch of those like the machines that you can do it as
Kiosks,
well. Yeah, the kiosks. This dude is very adamant about us using the kiosks. He's like, only international people go to the, what's it called? Or the lady.
The front desk.
And so like the guy goes there. It's only one international guy. It's like 8 groups of people. So it's not really that many people there. He's done. I'm like, all right, there's no one else. Let's go to this line. I don't feel like using the kiosk. We're already checked in. I straight up just need to weigh my bag, give the lady 30
Yeah.
bucks, and be on my way. The dude's like, sir, ma'am, please come use this kiosk. And I was like, okay. So we were like, walk back to the kiosk. We're about to go do it. And then the lady's like, I can take someone else over here. And I was like, oh, perfect. She's saying she can take someone. I go back with my girlfriend. We go walking up. He's like, hey, I just told you to use these kiosks. Come back over here. I'm like paraphrasing what he's saying, but
Yeah.
he was kind of being kind
Dude,
of an
fuck
asshole
that
about
guy.
it. And I at that point, I'm like so low on sleep. I'm so tired. I'm just like, I want to get the fuck on this plane. And I'm like, dude, she just said she would help someone. I'm going to go over there. And then he was like, I told you to use this kiosk, so come use this kiosk. And I'm just like, at that point, like under my breath, but like I said it kind of loud. I was like, this fucking dick. And I just walked right over to the kiosk, like bumped past some people, not on purpose. It was a little accident. I accidentally bumped into someone. And I start doing the stupid kiosk thing. Guy taps me on the shoulder. And he's like, you know you can't say that to me, right? And I'm like, what? I was like, dude, the lady said I could go over there and you're just making me do the kiosk. And he's like, you need to apologize. And I'm like, I was like, okay, I'm sorry. He's like, do you understand what you did was wrong? And I was like, yeah,
Christ.
I understand. Can I do the kiosk now and you go back to work? And then I guess he didn't like the apology. He was like, I'm going to get you kicked off this flight. I'm going to make sure you don't get this flight. And at that point, I'm like a little scared. Like I'm shaking, probably turning red a little bit. And I'm like, fuck, like I can't miss this flight. Like I've been here so long. I cannot miss this flight. So he like walks away and I'm like, all right, I got to go like actually apologize to him. Walk up. I'm like, sir, listen, I'm very sorry for what I said, but like I need to get on this flight. I've been here for 8 hours. Like you can't just kick me off a flight for calling you a dick. Like we're adults here. Like try to be like professional a little bit. And it was like, don't talk to me. I'm not talking to you. And at that point, like if I didn't have to get on the flight, I probably would have been like, you're acting like an actual fucking child. Like, can you just do your job and be like, okay, I appreciate your apology. Please go back to the kiosk or whatever. So I ignore him, go do the kiosk thing. Of course it doesn't work twice, so I'm stuck there trying to do the kiosk for 10 fucking minutes instead of, you know, going to the lady, giving her my fucking credit card and being done in 30 seconds like I wanted to. The rest of the time, I go up to the other workers, ask them for help because the kiosk wasn't working and everything. And he just like ignores me the rest of the time. And long story short, I end up getting on the flight. He didn't kick me off. And as soon as I like scanned my ticket and went on to like started walking down the what's the fucking gate thing that brings you to the plane, I like turned to my girlfriend. I was like, that stupid little bitch, he didn't kick me off this flight. And at that point it's like 6:30 in the morning, so I'm running on zero sleep, up for 24 hours straight. And I'm just happy that I got on the plane, because if like I went through that situation and didn't get on the plane, I probably would have killed myself.
See, that story pisses me off. That guy is such a fucking loser.
Thank you.
And
my girlfriend thought I was the asshole
No.
for calling him a fucking dick out loud, but
that guy is such a
didn't-
fucking loser, and he has nothing going for him in his life, so he feels like he needs to boss around people in a fucking airport. Those people can't kick you off a flight. He's not like, and also he's
Dude,
like,
that's what
I told
thought
you,
too.
I told you to use this kiosk. Like he's a fucking cop. Like you don't have to listen to him.
Oh my god.
Like, oh
Thank
my
you for
god,
agreeing with me.
I would have made a point to go to the lady. And also, I never use those kiosks because they're always fucking broken. They never fucking let me do whatever, print my ticket or print the fucking baggage thing. So I always go to the front desk.
I just think that guy didn't want to do his job. He was like, I want to use the technology so I can just sit here and do nothing. But yeah, you're right. My girlfriend thought I was completely wrong and I should have never ran my mouth, but like I don't regret it.
That's
one
also, it's
bit.
not running your mouth calling him a dick.
He's a fucking
Like, he
dick.
didn't go off on him.
I'm the customer. I want to use the lady. Like she said.
Yeah, I'm surprised you
that
even
I
went
could go
back
up
after
there.
she said, like, I would, when she says, I'll help you next, I'm going straight to the lady and just ignoring the dude.
Dude, I should have kept going.
Yeah.
I should have done that, but like I was so tired and delusional. Like I was
Yeah,
just
man.
like going back and forth between kiosk and the lady. Like, oh my god, can I just like please get this done? But I'm glad you agree with me, because
Dude,
yeah,
I
my
agree with you
girlfriend
too.
did not
And my
think it
girlfriend
was
would have
right,
been
but-
like, even, because she's even more impatient in airports, that she would have been like yelling at the dude before me.
if there wasn't two other workers there that were actually like nice and good at their job, I would have been like, dude, you're a fucking American Airlines security guard, basically, that checks my bag. You're so fucking
That's
irrelevant.
not even a security guard.
You
He's
probably make $40K a year max.
I mean,
Like,
let's
dude,
not insult his profession, but still,
I mean,
he's a fucking
the thing
idiot.
is, when people piss me off, I dig into them.
Yeah.
And that's what I would have said if I wasn't scared that I was going to get kicked off the plane.
All right, well, let's dig into some hockey news. How about that?
Let's do it.
For
Yeah, let's
transition.
get off from this. I'm getting too revved up right now about this. Why don't you tell me about the preseason games I missed since I was gone for a week? I think there was like 3 or 4 games in that time.
Yeah, I can't even I'm just going to talk about them all as a whole and probably bring up parts from each one. But because they're all mixed in my head. I can't distinguish one from the other. But Ellis and Provorov haven't looked terrible. They haven't looked like amazing together, but they have. It seems like they have some chemistry. Like the 2 eye-opening things are like defense and penalty kill is still like pretty bad. Like defense in our own zone is still pretty bad. I think the breakout is like 1,000 times better than it was. Like they just go with their they just don't even think about it, or but before they would go through all their looks and then they would get pressured by 2 forecheckers and turn the puck over.
So do you think maybe the defense is something that'll just come in time?
Yeah, it might just be a chemistry flow thing, but
and I mean, it's been 2 weeks. So was training camp 2 weeks long?
Yeah,
basically?
Yeah.
Maybe
And it's preseason. You're probably not trying as much, but the PK especially has looked bad. So if that continues, it's into the season. You have to look at the coaching strategy at that point, because it's we swapped out 7 players on this team and the defense is still the same. So then
is Mike Yeo defense too?
Yeah, Mike Yeo's the defensive
and PK.
coach. Yes.
Okay. Well, it seems like he's on the hot seat.
Yeah. So, we'll just talk about some of the newcomers. Like I said, with Ellis, he's really good at getting the shot through, and those first passes out of the zone, he's been real crisp on those. There was one game he had two roughing penalties, which is cool, dude, get fired up, but try not to take so many penalties. It's preseason, whatever. We saw a lot of sticking up for players, a lot of post whistle scrums, even for the preseason.
I think we're going to see that a lot this
Yeah.
year with our team.
Yeah, that was cool to see.
Because it did not happen last year, so I feel like they're going to make it a point this year to stick up for each other.
Yeah. Ristolainen and Sanheim haven't looked terrible. I mean, they've had their moments, but I think they'll also have some good chemistry. They're 2 pretty big guys, and Ristolainen's been that first game against the Caps, he was like a hitting machine, which is what I said would happen. I said, once this guy's crushing people in corners and sticking up for people, everyone's going to shut their mouth about his fucking analytics and the first round pick we had to give up for him. So he's looked good. He's looked like a fucking firecracker out there. Yandel had some questionable games, some poor turnovers, but I think on the power play he's helping a lot because he's more of a pass guy instead of they're not trying to set up the shot from the point on that first power play anymore, which I'm not too mad about because it usually doesn't get through unless it's tipped.
Yeah, I think I want Giroux to be taking the shots.
Yeah,
or
I want
whoever would be
him
the left side Farabee.
Well, they're going with Coots on that side. I think they should put Farabee out there because he had that one goal in the second preseason game, or was it? Yeah, the second one where York set him up and he ripped it from the top of the circles.
But what about also Farabee in the middle, kind of like what Hartsey did when G can just tap it to him and he can just turn his body and
but I feel like
it.
that's been teams are covering, they're clogging the middle so bad on the PK. And I mean, if they're going with a wider box, you could do that. But when they're going with a small box and clogging the middle of the ice, it's just too hard to get a puck in there without a stick getting to it.
Right.
Unless you're doing a lot of passes before. Yeah, I like Farabee on the other side just because you'll get more opportunities on the cross crease one timer. When you're in the Voracek position, we'll call it. Whereas Coots doesn't have that fast and accurate of a shot, where he might be better off in that slot position and also taking tips. I don't know, but
I think people don't think of Coots as good as a shooter as he might be. I feel like
no, he's a
I
good
don't know,
shooter, but Farabee's a better one, is what I'm saying.
for a one timer. Yeah,
Yeah, for
Well,
a
yeah,
one
that's-
T, I think
that's
Coots
true.
has a better like snapshot and wrister than a one T, but
probably.
Farabee and Giroux, I haven't seen Atkinson's one T yet, but like Farabee and Giroux probably have the best one Ts on the team.
That's pretty cool.
TK
that's
sucks at
what I would
1Ts.
think. That's fine. How has TK been? I've heard a lot of good things about him. He's the kind of player.
Yeah.
He is the guy that I'm most high on this year. I think he's gonna not break out, but like he's already broken out. But I think he's gonna have a really good year.
High energy.
Really silence the haters.
He hasn't looked out of place on that line with Couturier and Giroux, which is good. But he also, I mean, hasn't done much goal scoring wise. But they get a lot of good cycles and good pressure. So I'm not worried about him. I'd rather him show up in the regular season than show up in the preseason and then die down. So I think I'm not worried about him at all. I think with those two guys, that line's going to do well. Atkinson, if you watched the last Caps game, had two nice goals.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them was tipped, but it's
A
just
fluke
like
goal, but he's still putting the
he
puck on the
still
net.
put on the net and just didn't like take it, like fucking dump it into the corner and change.
Those are
We're
the guys
still
we need.
dumping on the power play, which I fucking hate because it's like no one's fast enough to get there, and we're just like clapping it in and then turning the puck over. It's just like no one can skate up the ice with the puck.
It's Michel Therrien, man.
No one can get into the zone with the puck.
They might have both been NHL coaches, but I do not like Michel Therrien or Mike Yeo. Like I think they need to be changed.
Yes, and I don't know
And I
which
think
one before the other.
And I don't know if they will during
Yeah.
the season. I don't know if that's something that would happen.
I don't know if Vigneault will do it. Like, I mean, I guess Chuck Fletcher's in charge. Like, he fires.
But he's
them,
going to ask
but he's gonna
Vigneault
ask AV, and
before.
that's going to be a whole thing.
Probably shouldn't look at them getting fired because they probably won't. So, what about Martin Jones?
Yeah, I was just going to talk about him.
I've heard people have been really shitting on him.
He looked bad, but it's like first preseason game, whatever. Haven't played meaningful hockey in forever. And I say bad. He like gave up like one or two bad goals. But since then, it's just
one or two bad goals is a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
You should give up 0.
It's been more so that like back to last year when Jones is in, it's like what was happening last year where they're getting second and third chances like in the crease. And sort of the defense falls apart.
I've seen some clips of him and stuff, and I feel like people are being a little too hard on him, but at the same time, he kind of does look out of position at times.
His positioning is terrible, but he somehow makes the saves.
Yeah, and he looks a little slow moving side to side.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that as well.
I did. There was one play where the puck went behind, it wasn't dumped in, but it was like from the point sent around the net, and he literally turned around like with his back to the play and was facing like the back of the net. Like I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He literally turned his body around instead of going post to post.
Dude, some guy could have slipped in there and stole that so easily.
Yeah, like the puck was behind the net and he turned around to look at the puck. And I was like, I've never seen a goalie give their back to all the players like that.
He's going to be the punching bag for Flyers fans this year.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's going to be a combination of him not being the greatest and the team playing bad in front of him.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be like one
how
or
many
the
games
other.
do you think he's going to get? Like 30? Probably 25? I feel like
Probably.
The thing is, like, he's going to get more games if Carter isn't doing well. But, like, I think from the limited action I've seen, Carter's looked great. So I don't have too much.
Yeah, he got a little bit banged up
about that.
But I think he'll be.
I saw
there
that.
for
Yeah,
game one.
he came
also,
back out
like,
on the practice.
Allison
right?
Risto didn't practice the last practice, so they're going to practice tomorrow on Tuesday, and we'll see if they're in or not.
Hey, we got Cam York waiting to play, so cool with me.
Yeah, so I
guess
mean,
Glendening might play before York.
Yeah, I mean, Glendenning's just looked like just a nobody, but like not terrible. You know what I mean? Just a no-name guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's just a depth player. If somebody gets injured, we're going to be forced to play him.
Yeah,
that's okay. I'm cool with that.
Anyone else I need to talk about in particular? I mean, Braun's just
Broussard,
been
maybe?
regular Braun. Broussard's look good. I've liked his play. It looks like he's going to be like the 2C. I don't know if I love him in that position, but he's playing well now. I think he's like showed that he can at least play that position until Hayes comes back. So I don't really have a problem with it. He's looked good.
That's good to hear.
Oscar
I think
too.
Him playing with Atkinson is nice as well. They know each other.
Yeah.
Easy chemistry to build off of.
Yeah, it looks like they definitely have some chemistry going there. And then they were playing most of the preseason with Oscar on the left wing, and that was a good combination. I think Oscar's back, baby.
That's good.
He's got the energy. He's got the bite back. I think
I don't know if he's going to put up a fuck ton of points, but I could see him getting 15 to 20 goals and like 20 assists, which is more than well enough, you know.
Yeah. So preseason is what it is, but we'll see when what happens when the games matter and they're playing different teams. They've also like only played the Islanders, Bruins, and Capitals. Did they play another team?
No.
So it's like they played the same
so.
teams that they had been playing all last year too. So it's like we got to see them play against some different teams. So we'll be there on Friday against Vancouver. That should be an interesting matchup because I haven't seen Vancouver playing forever.
Did you also hear about Carolina not playing enough games in Montreal?
Montreal rad them out. That's actually
them
hilarious.
like
so
little babies.
Apparently under the CBA you have to play at least 6 preseason games, and Carolina played 4 and didn't have any other scheduled, and Montreal apparently reached out to the league and they scheduled 2 more games for them. That's so funny. No, because it's so like, fuck them, dude. Everyone else has got to play, like, got to put meaningful players out there that have the potential to get injured. Why doesn't Carolina?
I think it's just soft on Montreal's behalf for tattletaling.
I mean, it's petty as shit, but like, so is
It's just like when they
situation with the signing.
Promoted Niskanen hitting Gallagher in the playoff series. They promoted it on social media to increase the chances of Niskanen getting suspended. Which was also ridiculous. So Montreal's just getting the reputation as a soft franchise.
Oh, yeah.
And they got their asses kicked in the Stanley Cup, so.
That's true. I
could care less about them.
That was a pretty vicious cross-check to the mouth.
It was, but then promoting a tweet is so petty.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right, why don't we
go ahead.
Let's roll into Around the League. I'm sorry if you're hearing footsteps above me right now. I told my roommates to be quiet. I don't know if they are being too quiet.
All good.
So Around the League, we don't have too much to talk about other than Zibanejad signing long-term with the New York Rangers, which I find laugh out loud funny. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, we can thank the Flyers for helping him get that contract. So it's 8 years, $8.5 million, and the Rangers are going to be in cap hell in like 3 years when they have to
re-sign. And it's a no movement clause until 7 days before his contract expires. And at that point, he has 21 teams that he can put on a list that he cannot be traded to.
That's the
so they
dumbest.
Are stuck with him.
That's the dumbest no trade I've ever heard of. It's not even crazy. His last year. He can be traded 7 days before the contract ends.
7 days before. So it's
how's that possible? Because the contract ends July 1st.
Yeah, I know. You can. It's basically like here. You can have the rights to a player that's 40 years old.
And we can only trade him to the select team.
He's probably going to be retired before this contract ends. He just started being a decent hockey player like 2 years ago.
That with like, they overpaid Barclay Goodrow, right? What was that, like 6 years?
3.6 per year for 6 years.
They have Panarin making 11 something, right? 11, he makes 11. And then they're gonna have Fox, Lafreniere, Kakko, and what's the other defenseman's name? Keandre Miller to pay at some point in the near future. And those contracts might not be cheap, especially Fox. He's going to want at least 9.5.
Yeah, I was talking to my roommate. I was like, chalk up Fox for at least 9 or 10. Kakko, you better hope he doesn't do that good this year, or else you're going to be paying him at least $5 or $6 million.
Yeah, because he's off his ELC next year, right?
Ryan Strome. I don't know if you mentioned him. I feel like he's not the answer for 2C, but he is their 2C right now. They will have to resign him next year.
Oh, they have
And then obviously
Kreider at
Loff in 2 years.
6.5 until 2027 as well.
Yeah. They have like 7 million cap space right now, but they can't use it because they need it for next year. They can't wrap themselves into something.
Yeah.
And there's nobody worthwhile on the free agent market left to just be like, hey, do you want like 4 mil just to play here this year? I mean, unless you like consider like a guy like Bobby Ryan, but I feel like you get Bobby Ryan for like $1 million easily.
Yeah. Damn, yeah. So they have 1 more year until RFA for Kako and for Adam Fox, and then 2 years for Lafreniere and Keandre Miller. I don't know,
That's
man.
a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how
It's
they're
going
going
to
to
be
do
a lot
it.
of money. Dude, they'll figure out some way to do it. Oh, they're also paying their goalie 5.6. Forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Shesterkin, yeah. So
Yikes.
that's going to be something to watch.
It's fun because it's not us, so it's really fun to sit back and watch it happen.
Yeah, they're also all very good players except for Zibanejad. Fuck that guy. I know you like really hate him. I kind of hate him too, but
I'd like despise the man. He shits on us,
every time.
but like that might be what fuels my hatred even more for him. But like I physically just don't think he's that good. I like you said, that 5-goal game got him this contract. He's a great player. He's a good player. Like, he's not bad, but he's making more than Giroux now.
Yeah,
and he's making more than Coots. And Coots is, like, I tweeted it. Coots is 10 times the player this guy is. I don't care if Zibanejad put up 40 goals that 1 year. That was a fluke. He's not going to put up 40 goals again.
dude, put Scott line on Artemi Panarin's line, and he's getting the same amount of points that Zibanejad gets. That might be a little bit exaggeration, but I'm just saying.
It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, playing with Panarin just gets people points.
I mean, you think like, oh, Panarin, the big shot. He's an assist machine too. Like, he has put such good passes on the ice, and he's the main target, so everyone's trying to defend him because they think the shot's coming. I don't know. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Fuck the Rangers. Hope they, are up against the cap and can't do anything. Did you see that Slewfoot on what's his face? Ryan Reeves?
No. Did Ryan Reeves Slewfoot someone, or someone
PK Subban Slewfooted Ryan Reeves and just like snapped his ankle basically?
Did he break his leg?
I don't know what the exact injury is, but I think he's out for a long time. Oh,
wow. I did not know that. That's fresh news to me. That's kind of funny because they literally signed him to be an enforcer, and now he's not even on the team.
Wait, no, he might be on the opening roster now. I'm trying to see. I may have just made up that, but it looked like he would be out for a long time.
That's okay. Ryan Reeves is so irrelevant; it doesn't even matter either way.
Who cares?
Let's move on. Let's talk about Morgan Frost, because we kind of were hyping him up about being 2C, and now obviously that's not going to be the case, as the Flyers just announced their opening night roster. What are your thoughts on this? Because I think it kind of sucks. Like, he had the perfect opportunity to prove himself, and now he's in the AHL, and obviously, like, he played the other night, he's killing it already. Game. So, like, it's not going to be that long, but it kind of was kind of a downer to see him get sent down.
Yeah, so that's one player I didn't really talk about when we were talking about the preseason, and I didn't even mean to not talk about him. I just completely forgot because he really didn't do anything meaningful. So I don't know. I don't know what the background is here. If the coaches wanted him to just focus on defense and stuff like that, and or told him anything, or just wanted him to play his game. Because watching him play, he seemed very passive with the puck, and was maybe overthinking it or trying to get the perfect pass in or whatever. But he just sort of wasn't doing too much, wasn't playing real confident with the puck on his stick. And I think defensively and face-off wise, he played well, but just in the offensive zone where you expected him to shine, he didn't really show much. I wouldn't say it was a bad performance, but he played with Farabee and JVR.
Okay. So I mean, you're playing with your best friend and a pretty good player in JVR.
Are they best friends? I didn't know that.
I don't know if they're best friends, but they're very close because they were
age,
drafted together.
Year after Frost was
Year
here
after,
before.
yeah, they're pretty close. Yeah. But I guess the pressure just got to him, and the nerves of getting the chance to make the NHL team, especially after hurting yourself last year. Maybe that has something to do with it a little bit. He doesn't want to get injured, so he's being a little timid out there. I don't know, but I mean, he went down, got 3 points in the overtime winner in his first AHL game after being sent down. So, I mean, the talent's clearly there, and he's going to get called up sooner rather than later, I would think. Especially if, like, the Flyers struggle in the beginning of the year offensively. Like, he's going to come back up.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he can do more in game at full game speed, but
yeah, he's also playing with Tuamalo and Forrester right now in the AHL, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sick.
Going to Phantoms games if you live in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah,
it's probably Allentown basically.
Yeah,
it's probably awesome.
Yeah,
I wish I lived near there because I would go all the time. They're probably like $5 tickets.
So some people thought he'd be back on the roster for the first game. It's not going to happen because they had to submit their opening night roster today. But people were saying, he's getting sent down because the Phantoms have a few more preseason games and they want to just get him more play time. But I don't think that was the plan. I think they just send him down, let him get a groove back. Obviously, that happened pretty quickly. I think they'll still wait a few more games into the season to see how the actual no one knows what this team's actually going to be like. So. Yeah. With the roster.
And to be honest with you, there's going to be injuries throughout the season, so he's going to get his chance because he's like first man up when it comes to forwards.
He's the first line center on the Phantom. So, one thing I was thinking, which I we're obviously all speculating. We don't know what fucking Morgan Frost was thinking while he's playing in this preseason games. I thought maybe this is how it would affect me if I was in his position. Knowing Hayes is injured and out and that the spot is there for you to take, do you go all out in the preseason? Rather than thinking I can fight for a spot on this team and I need to prove myself?
He thinks, you're saying he might have thought he had the spot and didn't need to do anything?
Not didn't need to, maybe, I don't want to say that because I don't want to be oh, he wasn't trying. And I don't fucking know. We're all just making stuff up here, but... Yeah. I'm putting myself in that position, and I would probably play a little more passively, thinking, "Oh, I have the spot. I don't really need to try too hard. Yeah. Let me just try to pass the puck to my teammates and shit."
I mean, it's a good way to look at it. I think. I doubt he was playing really timid like that, but that definitely was probably one of the thoughts that crossed his mind during the preseason.
Yeah. So
pretty much everything we've said probably crossed his mind, whether it's scared about getting injured again, the pressure of making the team, and the no pressure being as Hayes is going to be out for 2 months. So there's not really, the spot was there for him. I guess he might have thought.
He might have thought
it was right
that's
there.
My spot, not so much the spot's there for me.
Mm-hmm. And to be honest, maybe you said Broussard looked real nice. That probably played a part in it as well. Being AV and the coaching staff probably was you know what, Broussard's looked really good. We could throw him in 2C for the first month or so and make out okay. And that might be a reason why they sent him down too.
Yeah, and let's not kid ourselves. AV likes veteran players. There's nothing wrong with that. But he likes guys who have been in the league and know how to follow coach's orders and what to do in certain situations and not get too flustered. And
unless you're a guy like Farabee or TK who clearly belong in the NHL, he's just gonna toss you to the side.
Yeah.
And to bring up another point, I kind of it's okay that Frost isn't going to be in the NHL right now.
I don't want to force him in.
He's going to get 20+ minutes a night in the AHL playing with great players in Tuamalo and Forrester. So I'm not at all worried about his future on this team.
Yeah, it's just what people are putting out there, which is guys, it's preseason still, give it a rest. But it's just how much of a failure the Hextall years were. Mm-hmm. Nobody is panning out.
Nobody. Is Farabee?
We have Provorov, Sanheim,
Hextall.
Farabee was the Hextall pick, yeah. Farabee and Konechny. That's the 4, right?
And Sanheim.
Yeah, I said
and
yeah,
Frost.
Provorov, Sanheim, Farabee, Konechny. No, I'm saying the 4 that are like actually on the team. And are good players, decent players.
Yeah.
But it's still like Provorov was supposed to be like a Norris candidate. Like he's not played to that level yet. Like Farabee,
he's still only 24 years
Farabee
old.
and Konechny,
23
we
years
still
old.
have to see. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Do you have the opening night roster handy?
I do. I have it in front of me.
Let's rattle that off.
Well,
because we actually made a claim today. So
yeah,
it's going to
let's
be a
start
little
with
different than we
that.
thought.
So the Flyers claimed off of waivers center Patrick Brown from the Vegas Golden Knights.
I did a double take and thought it was Nolan Patrick, to be honest with you.
I did. I thought it was like is his name Logan Brown? There's a guy on Ottawa who's like actually really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was him. He's played 33 NHL games, 2 goals, 1 assist, -6, 10 PIMs. Like he's a fourth line AHL guy.
He's a fourth liner. And one thing I'll say about it, just based off social media and people's reactions, it kind of seems like Vegas fans liked this guy. So if a fan base likes a guy, you got to assume he is worthy enough to at least be on our fourth line, you know?
Yeah.
It can't hurt. And I guess he's just going to replace, who was that other guy that was playing on
Wilson?
the team? Yeah, something Wilson.
I can't remember his first name either. Yeah, so it wasn't the interesting part is that he's on the opening night roster without having, just being claimed today. He's already on the opening night roster. And that just may be like, okay, here's his preseason basically. We'll put him on the fourth line and the coaches will see what he's got and they'll send him down if he's not good.
Yeah.
Right. So
exactly.
That was interesting, but I'll go through the lineup in the order that it's presented on their website. Got Travis Konechny, Kevin Hayes, Sean Couturier, Derek Brassard, Scott Lawton, Oscar Lindblom, James Van Riemsdyk, Claude Giroux, Patrick Brown, Nate Thompson, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, Joel Farabee, and Cam Atkinson for the forward group. For the defensemen, Keith Yandel, Travis Sanheim, Ivan Provorov, Justin Braun, Rasmus Ristolainen, Ryan Ellis, and for the goaltenders, Martin Jones and Carter Hart.
So it seems like they're not even going to be they don't even have a 7th defenseman on the team right now. They're rolling with 13 forwards, Hayes being one of those guys, so he's not even on LTIR, is he?
Yeah.
If he's on the roster.
Yeah. So they went with what is it? It's a 21-man roster.
Mm-hmm. 13, 6, and 2.
Yep.
I mean, that's basically who we thought was going. Other than Frost being off that list, it's exactly what we thought. I think I saw we're about $400,000 under the cap, so we're riding that line hard, like pretty much right on it. Chuck and what's the other guy's name? Flair is his last name.
Brent Flair.
Brent Flair are gonna have kind of a tough task on their hands throughout the year as injuries happen and stuff to kind of make sure that we stay within the cap. But, I mean, it's pretty much exactly what we thought, right?
Yeah. And speaking of injuries, we have they released the players that were placed on injured reserve or the injured non-roster. Ryan Fitzgerald, who I don't even know who that is. Igor Zamula's on there. Obviously Morin and Allison. Tanner Leszczycki, Zayd Wisdom, and Cooper Zek. But, yeah, I mean, obviously the roster is different than our first predictions because there's a lot of injuries. And also we probably thought that a lot of people thought York would be the 7th D-man. But that doesn't make sense.
I mean, that doesn't make sense at all. Why would you not let the guy have ice time?
In the AHL, yeah. And he had there was one game where I'm not sure. Oh, it was there was an Islanders preseason game that wasn't broadcast. It was like on Twitter, but it was at like the Islanders like AHL affiliate. Like that's where they played it, and it was just like sounded like then the announcer was just like a dude who runs like a high school hockey rink. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't an official NBC announcer, so I like couldn't watch it. It was too hard to watch.
Did York play well that game or something?
No, he was actually there was like a lot of comments that he like looked out of place, but I didn't see it with my own eyes. So I think he had some penalties and some bad turnovers. But
we've also seen NHL analysts praise Cam York. So
Yeah, we just gotta hope
see
he's better
him
than Cole
eventually.
Caulfield.
That's it. That's really it.
Who's the front runner?
Because guess what? If he's not
For
better
Rookie
than
of the
Cole
Year.
Caulfield, Flyers fans are going to be talking about that shit for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I wanted Cole Caulfield too.
I
But
think we
clearly
all
we made
did.
the right decision because we need defense now.
Yeah.
It's our
Yes.
biggest need. We got plenty of offense in the works. I mean, like, straight up Frost, Tuamala, and Forrester alone, all three of those guys are going to be on our team in the next 5 years.
Hopefully. That's what we think.
Did you see, I tweeted about a play from Tuamala, actually.
Where he went coast to coast on the power play.
He looks so fast. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
and he's
Dude's a bona fide first-round pick, and we got him in
18?
the second round. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So fuck all you guys that were like, oh, he gave up the first pick for Ristolainen. We got
We
Tuamala.
got one. Such a sick name, too.
Samu.
He is 18 years old. He was born in 2003. Oh, my God.
That's fucking wild.
That hurts me. That really hurts me.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's a
that'll
baby.
make you feel old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm yelling at kids on the TV that are that much younger than me.
I know. It used to be
So-
cool when they were all like 10 years older than us.
So do we want to try to figure out the lines? I mean, we kind of know, but
I think we can rattle them off, but I think we know.
All right,
G,
so it's- yeah,
Coots, TK.
GQ, CK,
line
and
one.
then we're thinking second line is going to be Brassard.
Farabee.
So they were running Farabee on the third line with Lawton and
I'm sorry.
JVR.
Farabee cannot be on the third line.
I know.
Sorry. He just can't.
I don't know if they were trying to go with like second line is the more shutdown line and third line's the offensive line. But I don't know. I would think it would be Farabee, Brassard, Atkinson would be a sick line.
It would be shoot first and shoot often.
But
which
they
would be
didn't.
Great.
Farabee didn't really play with them. Farabee has been with like JVR all preseason. So
That makes sense though. Keeping him in pairs. He played well with JVR
Yeah.
last year. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I saw JVR was playing on the right wing a lot too, which is interesting.
mhm.
But as a veteran, I think when you have to force people to play on their off wing, the veterans are kind of forced into it.
JVR's looked good too.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a guy that's been hated on in Philly a lot, and I don't really hate on him, but he's looked so much better, and I feel like he's really silenced the haters a lot.
Yeah.
Especially last year, being basically our best offensive player. And if he continues, I mean, he's one of the best net front guys in the league,
Yeah.
and that's a valuable asset to have. We had Wayne Simmons for so long, and now,
I love Simmer, dude. Still love that guy.
so do I. Is he in Toronto still, or is
Yeah,
he
he
playing
just
somewhere else?
Fought some dude. Fought Scott Sabrin the other night. Fucked him up.
Fourth line minutes, probably.
Yeah. That's what's
It's on
kind
the-
of sad about it. You can tell his game's taking a huge dive.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
I
let's
still love him.
let's keep Farabee and like Oscar interchangeable for these lines, but it's going to be one or the other on the second line left wing,
Mhm.
and then the third line's going to be Van Riemsdyk, Lawton at center, and then one of Farabee or Lindblom, and then for fourth line we have Nate Thompson centering, Albe Kubel, and Patrick Brown. And Patrick Brown's a center too, so he might be center and Nate Thompson left wing. They'll
I don't know.
flip-flop him.
I think
don't know.
Thompson's really good.
He's
at
really
center.
good at faceoffs. Yeah, they should keep him at center, but who knows?
Also, congratulations to Nate Thompson. I believe he's 5 years sober.
Yeah.
I saw that on social
That's an
media the
amazing
other day.
accomplishment.
I'm not, but proud of him for
I'm not
doing
5
it.
minutes sober, but
I won't be 5 minutes sober 5 minutes after we're done recording this. I'll tell you that much.
that's for damn sure.
And
And
it's not going to be alcohol, that's for sure. I just came home from Colorado.
and the defensive pairs everyone knows, so we don't have to go through that.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Of Hart.
And of course, Carter Hart,
Carter Hart will be starting.
not Martin Jones.
Yeah. So, I mean, man, we're going to the game, Vancouver, Friday night. We're gonna be
I can't
there.
wait.
It's going to be
we're
exciting.
going to be. I think we're going to go to Xfinity Live for a little bit, have a couple drinks beforehand. So
Ride
if
the
any of
bull.
you guys listening are at Xfinity Live, you don't know what we look like.
Tweet at
but
us.
We'll be there. If you tweet at us and say you're there, we'll
come
tell you
find
where
you.
we're at. Yeah.
Yeah, Drunk Radio will be on the bull. That's how it goes. That's how it
I've
rolls.
actually never been to Xfinity Live, believe it or not. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I've been I was supposed to go so many times, I just never ended up going. So it'll be cool. I know exactly what I'm expecting. Just a ton of different TVs all over the place, a huge bar in the middle. I mean, it's your basic sports venue bar, you know.
You know what else we can be expecting is hearing the first goal song. That is if we don't get shut out.
Dude, I'm kind of pissed that Dupe isn't one of the selections.
After seeing the Giroux and Farabee video
Farabee
of them
thing?
both saying that they want Dupe to be the gold song,
I would get goosebumps if I heard Dupe.
do
you think they're
they
do you
pull
think
the
they're
wool
duping us?
over our
Do you think
eyes
they're duping us
and
and
play
they're actually
Dupe?
going to make Dupe the gold song?
They might, because the guys at Snow the Goalie podcast basically did like a whole forensic analysis of the voting and how the top three that were chosen, which was this
We're,
girl,
the most hated.
Beer, and the Tarzan boy, like they couldn't find any evidence of anyone like vote one
Liking them.
initially picking those songs, and then two, they just made them that they didn't like ask like, hey guys, vote on the goals, all the goal songs we've played so far, because they played
should
a
have been a
different
poll
one
on Twitter.
for every goal. There was no poll, no sort of voting, and then they just came out and they were like, oh, these three are the top three, now vote from the top three. But it's like, we didn't get to vote to get down to the top three. So
I hope we destroy Vancouver, but then the goal song is absolute ass, so we can just shit on it next episode.
yeah, so our boy Coots,
Unless
who
it's
is a
Dupe,
huge,
then I'm going
he's
to
a
praise them.
huge fan of Tarzan Boy because it was his goal song in college in Buffalo where he played hockey. So he's been voting, he's been rooting for Tarzan Boy. I would hate that if it was. It's too slow, dude.
Yeah.
It's too slow. Beer, I don't mind. Also kind of slow though. I just like that song. And then this girl.
I like the title of the song.
This girl it's a jam. And I didn't hate it when Atkinson scored and it came on. It was kind of like, felt right. But
maybe it was because Atkinson scored.
maybe that's why.
Yeah, I hope it's Dupe. At the end of the day, it doesn't really
Yeah, I
matter.
hope they just
but
go for
Dupe
Dupe.
would.
They asked, because Chris Tarian's on the Snow the Goalie podcast now, is one of the co-hosts, and he was like, guys, I worked for Flyers marketing. Like, there was no vote. Like, they have the song decided. This is all just like fan interaction bullshit. Like, they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, they know what the song is going to be. And it's going to be whatever song Gritty can dance to the best. Because they're just going to try to market Gritty.
All right, yeah, we'll find out. We'll be there. We'll probably
sick if
score
it was Dupe.
fairly quickly.
Hopefully.
I'm not too high on Vancouver.
I don't
I'm a
know,
little
dude.
scared of Hughes
Oh, wait,
and Pedersen.
no. They don't
but
have Markstrom. Who's their goalie now? Demko?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm afraid of Elias Pedersen and Hughes, but pretty much
Pedersen,
everyone
Hughes,
else on
Besser.
that team I'm not afraid of. Oh, yeah, Brock Besser. He's good.
Yeah.
He's like their version of TK.
Okay, yeah, but way better shot.
Yeah.
Way better shot. Oh, speaking of TK, he injured Ovi at the beginning of that game.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Just skated
He's got
right
a
into
fat
him
ass.
and tore his fucking ankle or something happened. I don't know what the exact injury was, but he just skated right into him. Also,
He's only day to day, so
this keeps my mind's going a mile a minute right now. We have to talk about these cross-checking penalties.
oh my god, dude. And they talk about it every time. They're like, oh, they're gonna make this a thing. I feel like we're in the NFL now, where they just pick a new penalty to make stupid every year.
Yeah, ineligible
Like,
man
what's going on?
downfield. That's the one the Eagles have been getting killed with.
My god, and the taunting in NFL.
Yeah, taunting's
But yeah,
been bad.
dude. How do you defend the front of the crease
No,
if you can't use the
I'm
stick?
saying, dude, how long have we waited to get a defenseman who's going to stand in front of the goalie and clear the front porch, i.e. Ristolainen, and now cross-checking's illegal? Are you fucking
Pronger
shitting
would have
me?
never existed if this rule was intact when he was
Pronger,
here. Like, Pronger would have been irrelevant.
Chara, he's going to be irrelevant this year. Like, all those guys. Well, Chara just does I'm going to flip your stick 100 feet into the rafters.
I mean, what do? Do I guess you just keep your you keep one hand on the stick and just push with your gloves. Like I don't understand. Like how do you
Hips?
clear the crease?
Use your hips? I don't know.
If you can't push people. I understand if it's like
A cross
if they're
check.
gonna like real cross checks, but when like you take your stick and you're just like using it for force to
For leverage,
push someone
yeah.
away, let it go. This is hockey. This isn't the fucking soft ass NBA.
I don't
here,
know.
All right.
I don't know. Like the one thing is, everyone will say like if they're gonna call it like it here, they got to call it everywhere, which we know they're not gonna do. They're gonna be selective about it. So I don't know if it's just gonna be like when it's in the corners they call it or into the boards, but like not when it's in front of the net. Because I've seen some of the people gotten away with. I've seen some, like there was a bad one on Ovechkin on Marchand, where Marchand was just like setting up to hit a one timer like in the slot, and Ovi like pushed him, and they called it a cross check. But
it's going to be something that we're probably going to tweet multiple times and talk about it a lot this year. Where we're just like, this is so ridiculous that we have to deal with this.
like,
But
it just make it like
I guess the players need to
the act of
adapt.
the extension. Like I don't know.
there's no way around it. It's just going to suck.
All that happens is the second it gets to the playoffs, they're gonna stop calling it.
Yeah, and that's all you can. I guess that's all you can ask for. Because come playoff time, I don't want penalties called unless someone tries to kill someone. So,
Yeah. But
Um,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Let's try to wrap this up. Let's roll into post game. We talked about Patrick Brown. Robin Lehner was
Very
spewing
vocal.
a lot of stuff on social media the past couple of weeks, specifically towards our head coach a little bit. I thought it was a little crazy, the stuff he was saying.
Let's
but
get.
at
Let
the
me.
same
You want me to read it out? I mean, everyone's
Yeah,
probably seen it.
why-
But so his first tweet was, "Is it common for workplaces to give out benzodiazepines to employees when they travel and Ambien? Should that not be done by doctors or psychiatrists? Asking for a friend," and then the eyes emoji. "This doesn't happen in Vegas, to be clear, but I do know many other teams. I also been on teams that do?" Question mark. He's having some punctuation issues, but he's like Swedish, so
The
it's fine.
Blackhawks and or Islanders
or
Buffalo,
Ottawa.
or Ottawa.
Yeah. And then in in the same thread, like he replied to his original tweet saying #Philadelphia Flyers question mark, dinosaur coach treating people robots not human, treating people like robots not human, I guess he meant. Fire these dinosaurs, fire #Vigno, first story, I got proof, try to shake your way out of this one. ...
And AV shuck his way out of that one.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Just to be clear, like
Just by
benzodiazepines
laughing it off.
is like Xanax basically, and Ambien is
Yeah.
or like hardcore sleeping pills.
pills.
So, he was basically
I'm sure-
accusing Vigneault of.
I don't think he was, but it seemed like he was.
That's what it seemed like, because it was a reply to the same thread, and he called out Vigneault after saying teams are giving players drugs that they're not prescribed for. It seemed like a call out. He the next day, or maybe it was a couple days after, backpedaled and said that the benzodiazepine and Ambien comment was not about Vigneault, but it did sure seem that way.
I remember seeing that. It's like, it's crazy that he said it, and obviously AV didn't do any of that stuff, but like my first thought was like, this probably did and does happen. Not just in the NHL, probably in every sport. There's probably like scumbag people that like just give pills to people just to help them take the edge off. But as a human being, you physically don't need to shove that pill in your throat. If they give it to you, you can toss it in the trash.
Yeah, they're not forcing it down your throat.
Yeah, you're a human. You have the right to choose. But at the same time, I understand his comments. I think it was a little outrageous, him doing it that way. Hopefully him talking to the league privately was more productive, but it was just crazy. I also thought it was hilarious when AV had his little press conference, and he was like, "I prefer experience to dinosaur." I thought that was funny.
Yeah, you didn't really like that term too much, but
No, he was like, "I'm not old, I'm just experienced."
yeah. So that was interesting to say the least. Gave the hockey Twitter a lot to talk about, and everyone's just like Nolan Patrick. Laner commented that it didn't come from Nolan Patrick and that he barely has even talked to Nolan Patrick yet, which is interesting that they've been in training camp for this long and they haven't really had a conversation. I don't know if Laner's the quiet, weird goalie guy or just Patrick isn't a nice guy. Who knows?
I think Nolan Patrick is very introverted, and he only opens up around his closest friends. That's just at least my analysis based on just seeing videos and the way he acts.
Yeah.
But he probably is a dick. You could see it. He's a spoiled white hockey player. I mean, it fits, you know? I still love him, though. I'm still rooting for him.
Yeah. And then the other AV news, which AV's name's in a lot of players' mouths this past week, just came out today, was Eric Gustafsson, who was on a tryout with the Islanders, which I was shocked to see when I was watching a game for like an hour, and then I was like, oh fuck, is that Eric Gustafsson on the Islanders? Like, I had no idea what I was watching. But he was not signed by the Islanders, but got signed back to the Blackhawks, and he, I think, was asked about his unproductive season in Philadelphia, and he basically said like he didn't see eye to eye with the coach, which is like, yeah, dude, because he probably wanted you to play defense, and you were the worst fucking defenseman ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's kind of funny. Yeah, you're not going to see eye to eye with your coach when you don't play your fucking position.
Yeah, and AV's a no-nonsense guy, and he's a defensive-minded coach. He doesn't like the one-dimensional player, which Gustafsson sure is. And Gustafsson gave us such false hope having like 2 power play goal setups in the first game last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, Pittsburgh. Oh, like who needs fucking Gustafsson? This guy's sick.
He probably could have done well if we used him more correctly. Like we talked about Mike Yeo and Michel Therrien. You got to use the guys for what they are, not for what you want them to be.
Yeah, but it's also like, hey, he couldn't even play third line or third pair.
Third line D, yeah.
So it's
I'm
just
not
like you need
Gustafsson
to,
anyway.
Unless you're going 7 D men
player.
And just putting him out on the power play. The issue was like he had no chemistry with Braun. Like Ghost didn't really have chemistry with Braun, and then you had to like move Braun up in the lineup because no one had like to fix. Like no one had chemistry with each other. Like the lines just made no sense.
Yeah. AV's really been getting shit on recently, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, so maybe
I think he's right in both scenarios. So he's done nothing wrong in my mind.
Yeah, maybe that fires him up. Like the only thing I've seen from AV, like I mean, he does like call out his players in pressers, but like maybe they fucking need that sometimes. And then in times where they don't need that, I've seen him bring up other shit so that people aren't talking about the players and they're talking about him. Yeah, which he did in the Montreal. Was it the Montreal series? Was one of the series? What was the series last year where there was like
make the playoffs,
sorry, 2 years ago? Sorry, was it? I don't know if it was the series or it was one of the bubble games or something. There was some game where the Flyers were like getting crushed, and then the coach put out the top power play of the opposing team. Like at the end of the game, they had a power play with like a minute left, and they put out the top power play, and like Vigneault shit on him.
Trash them for doing that. I remember that. I think it was.
Was it the Montreal?
I think it was Montreal
in that second game against Montreal where they won like 5-0 or whatever.
Because the Montreal series was super heated. The Islanders series went to 7, but it was kind of a mild series. Yeah. It wasn't too crazy. So I think it was Montreal. Because that was, I full blown hate Montreal because of that series.
Yeah, so I mean that was a case of Vigneault taking the heat off the players by like doing something like, you know, saying something outrageous so that everyone would be talking about him and not how Giroux and Couturier and Voracek did nothing that game.
Right, and also all these players that signed here this offseason said they came because like he was one of the reasons. Like Yandel, to be specific, like he came here as like, I liked AV as a coach, I wanted to come here, I wanted to come to Philadelphia. So some players probably do hate him. I think every coach in the league has players that hate them. That just comes with the job. But the players that we wanted on our team didn't, and the players on our team now don't. So I don't know.
I mean, there's player coaches, and you can like catch lightning in a bottle sometimes with that, like with Gallant in his first year, but it doesn't work out all the time or like long term when the coach, like the coach has to have like allegiance to the GM and to the owners more so than the players because he's that middleman. So when you're too far one way or the other, it doesn't work out. And if you're too buddy, then you're scared to hurt people's feelings, and and your judgment gets clouded on what's best for the team.
And he's a good middle ground between those two things.
Yeah,
so
I don't have a problem with Vigneault at all. Fire the other two fucks behind the bench. I don't care.
It's exactly how I feel. AV is a perfectly fine coach. I do not like the assistants.
Also, like 2 years ago, everyone was screaming, "Get this guy to Jack Adams." So like, I don't know, man. Dude, Philadelphia fans are going to be the death of me.
It's really a joke. It really is when it comes to Philly fans. It's tough to deal with sometimes, especially like running this drunk Gertie and stuff. It's hard not to clap back at some of these people sometimes where it's just like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just being emotional and stupid.
Yeah.
It's only valid when it comes to like right now, I feel like everything Ben Simmons related is valid, but like I hated the hatred towards Nolan Patrick. I still hate it, and I know it's going to keep happening. And I hate when people freak out. Like, people were freaking out about the preseason games like we're going to suck now or something. Like, guys, it's crazy.
When have we ever cared about preseason games with this team?
It's so irrelevant. I was watching the Caps game at the airport, and I was like, we lost. Oh, well, who cares? The only thing that got me heated was when fucking Tom Wilson was being a little shithead, going after Farabee, and Farabee turns around and I think he mouthed like, "The fuck you doing?"
Yeah, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" That was great.
It's like you're Dude, like that. I think there's something mentally wrong with Tom Wilson.
Give him a few extra penalties. Like he was just
the wrong way,
straight up glove punching Farabee in the face against the boards.
And Farabee literally
without
was
a helmet on.
Like hitting Farabee didn't a player that had the puck.
Yeah, he did. He gave him one cross check, right?
He gave him a shove.
He hit him and gave him one shove, like which could be called a cross check.
It didn't even hurt him.
They didn't have a Flyers feed. They only had the Washington feed for that game, and the Washington color guy was like, "Oh, like 4 or 5 cross checks." I'm like, "What are you watching, dude? He hit him once."
Yeah, I remember seeing Carlson after when Wilson got a penalty.
Yeah, arguing with the refs,
being like he shoved him. That's why I hit him. But dude, like, you play hockey. He hit him and then he shoved him because the puck's still between his feet and he's trying to get it.
Yeah,
that's how you get the puck.
It was also like a rookie guy.
Like that's how it works.
It was a rookie guy on.
So they're defending him and shit. Yeah. Was it Maxime Leperrier? Whatever his face was. Yeah, I heard he's starting it on the team.
Well, whatever, dude. They don't have Backstrom. I think he's out for a while. And then who knows what's happening to Ovi?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We got 3-4 days left until I'm literally going to be happy for
I'm pumped,
a long time.
What jersey are you wearing?
I'm excited. I think I'm going to go with TK, my black TK.
Oh, you got the black TK? Okay.
Yeah. I was either that or Retro Haze. I think I'm going with TK.
You have a reverse Retro Hazy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I was between that and Nolan Patrick last year.
Fanatics bullshit jerseys, or you got the Adidas ones?
No, I got the good ones.
Okay, nice.
I got like a AliExpress, if you know what that is. I had a AliExpress forecheck jersey that I used to wear sometimes. It's actually like not a bad jersey. It's not bad. It was $30, so it was kind of.
I'm probably gonna rock the.
Did you buy Farabee yet?
No, so I have the Giroux, like the Winter Classic one that they turned into an alternate. So I have it as like the alternate, like it doesn't have the Winter Classic patch. The those like light orange ones with the ties.
With the Penn State or the Pennsylvania State
yeah.
as the assistant and captain thing. Yeah,
it's a Keystone. Yeah,
the 2012 jerseys.
Yes, but yeah, so
against the Rangers at Citizens Bank Park.
Yes,
I was there.
Yeah, so I have that jersey, but like as the alternate jersey, not as the Winter Classic one.
Gotcha.
And then my other jersey is a Ghost jersey, which I can't wear that. So
yeah,
I'm gonna rock the G one, and I'll probably buy. I'm still debating if I want a Farabee or a Couturier jersey. I like having a letter.
I need to get a new Giroux one.
I like when it has a letter because I feel like I paid for something more. I got something more for what I was paying for.
Yeah, I got the A on my Hayes jersey. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I need to get a new Giroux because my old Giroux is so big on me and it's got like a mustard stain on it. So I kind of want a new one.
Mine's probably got
some
stains on it too. But
It doesn't have an A or a C on it too, so I kind of want to get the Drew C. And then after that,
Yeah.
I'll probably have to go with Farabee.
Do I go Couturier? He's gonna
I
be
love
here for 10
Coots.
more
I've
years.
just never. I don't know why. I love Coots so
He's
much.
never been your
I mean,
like favorite player.
He's never been like the one I want to go out and get, but like he's so important to this team, and I love him anyway. It's just, I think I have a jersey.
A jersey. I guess that's worth it. Yeah, so maybe I gotta go Farabee. It kind of sucked when he was 49. I didn't want to get a jersey that said 49 on it, but I'll respect 86.
Yeah, now he's got a dope number.
But I do want to go. I want to go the black jersey. I was thinking either the black jersey or the reverse retro. I don't know.
They might never wear reverse retro again, so I don't know. Maybe you should.
Was that a 1 year thing? That's not the alternate. What's the alternate this year? Is the black jersey?
It probably is the alternate still, but I don't think they'll wear it nearly as much. The black jerseys are alternates, yeah. So they'll probably wear that one more than.
All right, I'll get the black jersey. They got the bigger numbers and lettering too.
Yeah, the black jerseys are the coolest ones anyway.
It's also like I don't have to wear like orange, which like is not a very flattering color.
Dude, yeah, I have a lot of orange in my apparel, just because
all
of the
Flyers related. You're just personally you like wearing orange.
Yeah,
all
it looks good when you're walking into the stadium. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean then it's fine, but anywhere outside then it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about fucking colors and clothing now. I think we've gone too far. Let's wrap this up.
Wrap this up, baby.
Yeah, that wraps up this episode of Tie My Skates. Please like, comment, and follow on Twitter and Instagram at Tie My Skates Pod. And you can listen anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm Z. He's Drunk Gritty. And we'll see you guys next time.